I sat on the call hearing everything was falling apart. The plan to release had just blown up. Somebody had found a defect, but nobody could explain how they'd found it and how we could recreate it. And everybody just stops and looks at you. This is where keeping a cool head and taking a breath is the best thing you can actually do. Welcome back to Project Management 101. I'm Dave. It's great to see you all again. Before we dive in, I just want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you to everybody that's been watching and everybody that's following along. I started Project Management 101 with the aim of helping out at least one person, whether they're a new, aspiring or existing project manager. And the reason why I take the time out of my life to make this content is to help you guys. I love it. I love the feedback and I love to hear your stories and experiences. So I hope it's continuing to help you. I'm really enjoying making this content for you. So massive thanks from the absolute bottom of my heart. Thank you. Today we're talking about why project management is one of the hardest, but also one of the most rewarding jobs you can have. But also why it isn't just about managing a project plan. It's about daily situational leadership. Of your team, of your peers, of the wider leadership team, and many, many more people. This week, I sat on a call with my wider delivery team, hearing about everything was falling apart. The release plan had blown up in everybody's faces, and somebody had found an issue. A little bit of data was shared around the issue, but it just didn't make any sense. One engineer said, "I don't even know how this has been flagged." I kept asking questions of everybody, but the answers just weren't landing. And that's when I realised that the clarity wasn't coming from the data, so it had to come from me. So I paused, I took a breath, and I focused on what I could control in the moment. In moments like this, I fall back on an early triage process that I use, focused on these three things: pause, prioritise, and probe. Those three things aren't about solving the problem, they're about guiding the team through the fog. Pause to calm the room, prioritise to see what needs attention right now, and probe gently to see what people are and aren't saying. So I stopped, I paused, I took a breath. No calls, no messages, no conversations, just me and a moment of deeper reflection, and I took the time to ask myself the following questions. What are the facts we have? Is there enough detail? What are the expected minimum standards that I would expect to be captured in a scenario like this? And then finally, if I hold up a mirror, have I got all of the information that I think I need to be able to make an informed decision to help the project team move forward? I didn't say these questions out loud, but I did think it through and I made sure I took notes and had some next steps in my mind as I regrouped with the team. So question one that I asked was, what's the data that we have? And the answer is quite a vague description, but nobody can really articulate how they found the issue or why they found the issue. The second question is this enough detail? And the answer is no, it's not. The third question is around what's the minimum expected input that I expect for this sort of scenario. As it was a bug or an issue, what I would expect is a clear description of what the issue is, steps to recreate the issue, and the technology log IDs, so the engineering team could trace that through each step of the technology components. We didn't have any of those. And the final question was around holding up the mirror, and when we did, we couldn't say yes to it, could we? We didn't have the data, so it gave us a clear set of next steps. By taking the step back and using those questions, it allowed me to rise above the noise of the issue and start to lead the team with clarity towards an outcome. I pulled my direct team together and we walked through the 4 questions together, noting down a mini action plan for each one as we went. We didn't have the data, how were we going to get it? Who did we need to ask? What was the framework we needed to put in place to remove the ambiguity from the situation? That allowed us to build a mini plan to solve each step. We baselined the facts and agreed the gaps. So we pushed back to the team that was raising the issues. Guys, please can you meet our really reasonable request? Please, as a minimum standard, can you provide us with a clear issue description, steps to recreate the issue, and the technology logging IDs so our teams can appropriately triage it? At this point, the team responded with more detail than they'd previously shared, and bingo, that's when we spotted it. The issue that was shared had been spotted in the logs, but not through testing. Somebody had just been trawling the logs and they'd spotted an anomaly. No steps to recreate, no customer IDs, no information whatsoever beyond we've got an anomaly in the logs. The kicker, the stakeholders had been told there was issues. Now the spotlight was on my team to solve issues that we didn't even know where to start with. Great, I thought. Now it's our time to shine. I pulled the wider team into a call and we got into it. I led the call and I led the team through a discussion highlighting what data we did have versus what we didn't, and made sure that it was very transparent and everybody was in agreement. And then we were able to take a step back and use the facts to drive the outcomes that we were looking for. Because we reset around the facts, I was able to navigate the opinion in the room much more easily and drive us towards data and outcomes. Let's not focus on opinion because that's not helpful. Let's focus on what we can control and the data that we have available, and make a plan to understand another layer of data from that point and move us towards an outcome that ultimately we're all trying to achieve. As the teams couldn't really say we had an issue, let's get back into our test environment, let's rerun the scenarios, let's validate it all the way through the tech stack and validate if we're seeing an issue or we're not. And then we can close down the noise of the opinion and utilise the baseline test evidence to allow us to move forward with our project. Ultimately, releasing the value to the customer, whether that's business value or customer facing value, should always be a focus in any scenario like this, and making sure that it's a consideration when you're stopping the noise, when you're cutting things down and moving the project forward, is really key to keep that value focus front of mind. And with that, be really careful if you're dwelling on an issue. Work with your team. How can you cut through it? How can you move forward so it doesn't slow the momentum and ultimately impact that customer value? Strike fast, be decisive, but use the data. Being a leader of your team, of the wider teams that you work with, and wider people within the business is a key part of being a project manager. And having the confidence and ability to turn your skill set into wider situational management and leadership will help you and your team grow issue after issue after issue. Being a project manager is about stepping up when others freeze. It means asking the right question when nobody has the answers. And most of all, it's about believing clarity is possible, even when everyone feels like it's falling apart. Drop me a comment below. I'd love to hear, have you faced an issue like this, or something similar? How did you overcome it? Did you witness a great project manager overcome an issue similar? I'd love to hear about that. Let's continue to learn from each other, continue to grow the community. Make sure you like and subscribe for more practical advice in project program and delivery management. Thanks for watching Project Management 101. From chaos to clarity, take care.